Welcome back to Askewed Reviews, and at least for the first few days of this month, since it is Pride Month, we are doing LGBTQ plus films, and today we are doing the 1995 comedy drama To Wong Foo, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar. Here is your trivia question for today. Robin Williams has a small cameo in this film. What is the name of his character? The answer will be at the end of this video. The film starts off at a competition in New York City for Drag Queen of the Year, and whoever wins that gets a full expenses paid trip to California for the Miss Drag Queen America competition. Now, there ends up being two winners of this one. It is Vita Boheme, played by Patrick Swayze, and Noxzema Jackson, played by Wesley Snipes. Now, the two winners end up running into Chi Chi Rodriguez, played by John Leguizamo, who is very sad about not winning. So, to try to cheer her up, they decide that they're going to sell their plane tickets and go on a road trip and take Chi Chi with them. Now, along the way, they run into a sexist sheriff who gets a little handsy with Vita. Vita does not like this and pushes him out of the way, unfortunately knocking him unconscious. So the three of them drive off as quickly as they can. Soon, though, the car breaks down. Lucky for them, a good Samaritan picks them up and helps get their car towed to the nearby town of Snydersville, Nebraska. They find out that it's going to be a few days until their car can be repaired. So they have to spend some time getting to know the locals, who don't seem all that interested in getting to know these three lovely ladies. Now, the girls do manage to make some friends and make some enemies. And the real question is, can they leave this town better than when they found it? All the while, the sheriff is chasing them down. Now, the writer for this film is Douglas Carter Bean, who apparently was at the China Bowl restaurant when he actually saw the autographed picture from Julie Newmar, and that gave him the inspiration for the title of the film. Wong Foo, by the way, was a well known head bartender at the China Bowl restaurant, where they would have tons of autographed pictures from celebrities that would come into the restaurant. Biban Kidron was the director of this film and was apparently quite pregnant when she started doing so. So much so that Steven Spielberg, who had read the script and actually really liked the film, offered to take over directing if she needed to take time for the baby. Biban actually made it all the way to the end of filming, and the last day of filming is when she gave birth to her child. Now, apparently, if they weren't going to be able to use Julie Newmar's name, they had a backup in Carol Lindley. Apparently, Julie Newmar actually just showed up on set one day to watch, and because she was around, they offered her that cameo at the end of the film. What's really funny is, many years after the film was made, she was at a convention and someone gave her a VHS copy of the movie to sign, and she was so wasted that she apparently said, "Who's Wong Foo and why am I thanking them?" Snydersville is actually a tiny town called Loma, Nebraska, and that's where they did the filming for the movie. This movie shares a somewhat similar plot to the film The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, another movie I definitely recommend checking out at some point. All three of the main characters in this film actually spent time with the New York City drag scene to really get immersed in it before filming started. In fact, all the drag queens in the film are actual drag queens, and even RuPaul makes a cameo in the film. Apparently, Patrick Swayze received the role of Vita because he was doing a 30-minute monologue that was inspired by the bullying he received while studying ballet when he was in Texas as a boy. Wesley Snipes apparently hated being in the outfit, wig, and makeup so much that at the last day of filming, he talked the other actors into throwing pretty much everything into a bonfire to ceremoniously say goodbye to these characters. John Leguizamo plays the character of Chi Chi Rodriguez. Now, apparently, there was actually a golfer at the time that had the same name. Now, he sued and actually won an undisclosed amount of money as he stated being linked to a gay character harmed his reputation. John Leguizamo also did a fully vegetarian diet 6 months leading up to the shooting of the film. That way he could get more svelte and feminine. Speaking of vegetables, the look on Chris Penn's face is actually of utter confusion as he reaches up Patrick Swayze's dress, as Swayze had apparently placed a corn on the cob up there to confuse him. In the balcony scene where the three characters are looking out and being proud of what they've done for the town, one of them states, "It only takes a fairy." And what's interesting about this is their color scheme actually matches the three fairies from Sleeping Beauty. The three actors in this film honestly did such an amazing job, and I really can't imagine anyone else playing those characters, but apparently there were some other actors up for the roles. For instance, Viggo Mortensen, Gary Oldman, Mel Gibson, Matt Dillon, Robert Downey Jr., Rob Lowe, James Spader, William Baldwin, John Cusack, and Johnny Depp. By the way, in case you don't remember the 4 steps of queenliness, here they are. Step 1, let good thoughts be your sword and shield. Step 2, ignore adversity. Step 3, abide by the rules of love. And step 4, larger than life, just the right size. Also, if you can't get enough of this film, there is also a musical. Now, I don't know if any productions of it are still being done nowadays, but you should actually at least be able to find the soundtrack. So when it comes to this film, all of the 3 main characters did such an incredible job. I don't think the story was all that great. It was, just kind of a fun little adventure. But I will give this movie a 3 out of 5. Now, as for the trivia question from the beginning of this episode, Robin Williams has a small cameo in this film. What is the name of his character? Robin Williams seems to be a friend or acquaintance of the girls named John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Askewed Reviews, and if there is a movie you'd like to see get a review, just mention it in the comments. And as always, like, comment, share, and subscribe.